morning. I'm Dr. Matthew Ngetich. I'm a general practitioner with 20 years experience in various capacities, both as a clinician, an administrator, and a manager of schemes themselves. I'm passionate about managed healthcare systems which are going to deliver quality, affordable healthcare services to all Kenyans. This ties in nicely with what we are trying to do at Ponea Healthcare, where we actually are putting the patient at the center of healthcare. One of them actually is infections. I've mentioned, for example, human papilloma virus, which has actually been shown to be the cause of cancer of the cervix itself. How do you get human papilloma virus? It's sexually transmitted. Most people are going to actually pick it up in that way. Now, the typical thing that would happen is that you'd end up with a wart in your body. These tend to be benign growths on your skin themselves. But in susceptible individuals, because remember, each person has got a different immune system. And you have seen this on an everyday basis. So we have got different immune responses to different illnesses. So some people will be exposed to one agent and they never fall sick. But some of us are very susceptible. As an example, you may attend a function where food is being served, perhaps in a buffet, and you'll see somebody who is going to actually serve a small amount of the salad over there, and the next thing you know, within an hour, they're actually rushing to the bathroom. They are falling sick. You have the same meal, you are okay. Or 2 days later, you may have one loose tummy, and that's it. So on a Friday, you are going to be okay. Saturday, you are miserable. Come Monday, you're well enough to come back to work. But there are some people who will eat things that are obviously bad and they never fall sick. These are people whom we say they may have a leather stomach or an iron stomach. They got a lot of tolerability to some of the foods, some of the poisons, some of the infectious agents that they do not fall sick. Think of your typical chokora. If today I took any Kenyan who is working and I put them on the street, even the sight of what those people are eating will make you vomit. But by the second day, you start tolerating it. By the end of 1 week, your tummy will have started digesting it. If I visited you 1 month or 2 or 3 months down the line, utoko kama chokora, you've developed an iron stomach or a leather stomach. You can now live in the streets literally. So people who smoke, some will develop their cancers much earlier. Others will develop much later, the typical thing being much later. But that does not mean that they are safe. Some of you will tell me that, oh, I can have 1 or 2 for the road. I know I'll make it home safe. I've got news for you, brother or sister. Our tolerance for alcohol is different. Some people will have only 1 sip and they are down for the count. Others can have a whole crate and they're good to go. But there's no safe limit. Every unit that you take is actually going to impair your ability to drive and put you at risk of getting an accident. Same thing when it comes to smoking. Same thing when it comes to lack of exercise. Same thing when it comes to the fact that you are having way too much to eat. So our message today is, please, if you must have vegetables, can you stick to vegetables that are 1, not cooked, or 2, vegetables that are eaten raw, not vegetables that are actually going to be cooked as you are eating it, and that is tobacco and its own different variants. And this also applies to shisha, to the big cigarette. You all know what that is. Yeah? People will say that it is safe. Anything that you inhale and put it into your lungs is harmful. It's not just tobacco that we're talking about. It's not just smoke that we're talking about. We forget that there are other sources of pollutants in our environment that we encounter on a daily basis. Your motor vehicle. Most of us are going to be driving a vehicle that is going to be burning petrol or diesel. The exhaust fumes from those ones are actually going to be inhaled. And this puts you at the same risk as somebody who is smoking. Some capitals, like Mexico City, for example, or even if you have gone to India itself, you'll see that Delhi at times is actually going to be shut down for the day because there is so much smog, so much pollutants on the roads that you can actually end up being suffocated. And those people who have got asthma, cardiovascular disease, are going to be at risk at those particular times. So our industries and our motor vehicles that are actually polluting the environment are putting you at risk of developing these cancers because these pollutants are potential carcinogens. It's not just the fact that you're burning these fuels for industry or for transport, but also that you are manufacturing these things in an environment that is actually likely to be harmful. Take, for example, lead, which was banned a long time ago because of its known effects for potentially causing neural damage to young people, and is known to be also a carcinogen, a substance that can cause cancer itself. The best thing that we ever did was to actually ban it. And recently, the last country in the world, Algeria, finally used up its last stocks of leaded petrol. And now we can say we are living in a post-leaded petrol environment. But the effects of this lead poisoning is here to stay. Very many of the vegetables that are grown in urban centers are polluted with lead. And they look very healthy, very green, and everything else. You go and eat it, but you're getting an extra ingredient that God did not put in it, which is this lead and other heavy metals that it has picked up from. So we are at risk even when you're making choices as to what you eat. I'm not saying let's be paranoid, but let's be realistic about the environment that we're living in. It is not the same environment that we used to live in before. Thank you for joining us for this session. I'm Dr. Matthew Ngetich. We look forward to having you on our next session when we're going to be discussing any other health needs that you might have. If today you wish to discuss more about cancer or the needs that surround it, or you have any particular health needs, do feel free to reach us on ponea.com. Asante.